In this video, after some plans fell through on a Saturday, I thought I'd squeeze in just one more daily race C. I mean, one more can't hurt, right? Hey guys, Eerie is here and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you like watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, then subscribe now and click the bell icon as well so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. So we're going to jump straight into it here. As we said, we're back at Interlagos for another shot at Daily Race Cs and we're starting in 12th for this one. That was in thanks to my lap time of a 1:38.2, which wasn't the fastest, but we're going to go with it. We also have 5 A+ ranked drivers in this one, so we're going to do our usual thing, try and get as best a result as we can and see at the end how many, if any, we manage to finish in front of. I want to get at least one. So on the first lap here, we were carving through the field. Firstly, we went up to 11th after some shenanigans at turn number 4, and then up to 10th after overtaking the corner cutting silk cut Jag. And then finally we move up to 9th after getting a good run out of the final corner and simply outpowering the McGann. That didn't stop. We then went up to 8th briefly as we started lap number 2. However, a light bump from that guy in the Alpha there pushes me wide out into turn number 1, which is going to not only lose me the 8th that we've just taken, but also 9th as well, at least momentarily, because keep your eye up ahead here. The Portuguese driver for some reason is going to pull to the left and just get out of the throttle. I'm not sure there if his mum shouted up the stairs saying his tea was ready or if he was letting us back through. But either way, I repass him and also overtake the McGann again coming into turn number 4. So all order is restored here and we are back up into 8th. 4 places ahead of where we started in 12th. Now that there's some clear track in front of me here, it's time as always to get my head down and try to cut down the gap to the group of 5th, 6th and 7th up in front, who are currently just over 2 seconds up the road after all of that fun at the start of lap number 2. Coming out of the final corner on lap number 5, I have dropped the cars behind and caught up with the 3 in front. We are going to be 3 wide here as we come across the line, but then just watch this. The driver in the Huracan is going to refuse to give me space here, and after hitting me 3 times to give himself the optimum run into turn number 1, I am forced off. Thankfully though, he gets himself a penalty there, which for me is well deserved. And I'm back down to 9th and we've got some serious work to do if we're going to get anywhere near where we were before. Now, there is an argument that maybe I shouldn't have been down the outside, but if it were me, we all know I would have left the space, because we know you must leave the space. So the other party unfortunately wasn't so forgiving. Pleasingly though, karma is going to come for him, as a silk cut Jag did exactly the same to him, did not leave him the space, and he is forced wide. Now he is up next and I want my 8th place back. Getting it back is going to come sooner rather than later here, as I get another good run out of the final corner and drive straight up the inside of him as we come up the hill to start lap number 7. Now you would think that I could now concentrate on the cars up in front and getting after them, but oh no. There is a reason why I have the radar on at all times, and it is for drivers just like this. Keep your eye on the radar here. He is going to come through like a wrecking ball into the corner, so I had to delay my turn in and let him through like a matador and come back underneath. Olé! What an absolutely disastrous driver you are. Thankfully though, he ruined his exit, so he's in the rear view for good now, and we can look up ahead where there's going to be a large collision between 6th and 7th as they come into turn number 5. The Jag there is going to get himself a 3-second penalty. Happy days, we'll take that freebie here as he charmingly serves his penalty on the racing line there. So we're up to 7th now, and we're going to see if it's going to be a case of hunting down Vlad up in front or consolidating 7th place. Now, it was to be the latter. The Megans come good towards the end of the race, they do better on their tyres, so I was happy there to keep hold of 7th in what was another very eventful one here in the dailies. And despite finishing ahead 2 of the 5 A+ ranked drivers, I just couldn't go out like that. There was plenty left in the tank, sir. So I went for just one more. Then I thought, after this, as long as it goes well, I will call it a day. So in this one, the lobby was a little bit harder, and we'll be starting, as you can see there, from 14th. A couple of places lower down than the 12th we started from last time out. But we do have another 5 A+ ranked drivers in this one, and the goal remains the same, to beat at least one of them, but ideally as many as possible. Now, it actually took a surprisingly long time for it all to start kicking off in this one. The Brit here, coming into turn number 6, is going to hit the car in front, and we in turn are going to hit him, firing him alongside and up the inside of the Frenchman. Naturally, of course, I'm going to get the customary SR down there, but in better news, we're going to be following the Frenchman up the inside of the Alpha here, who ends up losing 2 places, and we are now up to 13th. Now, I know that the Alphas are very good on the brakes, and that is going to be shown here by the ability for the Brit to just chuck it up the inside. But again, I see it, delay my turn in to avoid contact, and then we say ciao to Ciao Gamer as we drive right round the outside of him. He's going to get his karma for that silly lunge there. By costing himself his exit speed, he's going to lose all his momentum and get overtaken both on the inside and the outside. Moving on 1 lap here to lap number 3. I'm in the slipstream and I'm going to pull out to try and make a move into turn number 1. But again, the Alpha displays its braking advantage and I can't make it stick into turn number 1. But what I lose there in braking ability, I make up for in pure speed, as I drive right round the outside of him here, powering past him on the straight, and then finally making the move stick into turn number 4. Unfortunately for the German, he's actually going to get overtaken by the Italian as well, who's going to sit here on the inside, but don't worry, that's going to turn to the outside. So I'm not too worried here. He'll have to pull off an absolute wonder move to get round us here, and we're going to hold on to 12th. And 12th is 2 spots above where we started, but 3 spots unfortunately below our door number. So there is work to be done if we want to continue to bring in that positive driver racing and continue our journey to A+. The trail car in the 7 car pack up ahead is just over 2 seconds away now. We're going to do what we always do. I've said it already, we're going to try and get our head down here and see what we can do about closing that gap. With that clear track in front, it didn't take me long to close the gap. We've closed right up on the Portuguese driver in the Alpha as we start lap number 5 here. There was no chance, as we know already, to outbrake those Alphas into turn number 1, so we just got to use our speed advantage to force him to go defensive into turn number 4. So I've made him do that, but then I cut back across once he's made his move back to the racing line, mainly in an effort to distract him, and look, it's going to work. He's going to get a big old tank slapper on there, and we're going to manage to drive round the outside, which then is going to turn into the inside here for turn number 5 and up to 11th we go. Shortly after that, we actually end up in 6th. I don't believe there was any contact between himself and the Megane there, as no penalty was forthcoming, but all I know is GT Sport does not hold back in dishing out the penalties, so it must have been a simple case of him outbraking himself. But either way, our ascent continues here, and we are now up into the top 10, which in turn is soon going to be 9th after an ambitious lunge from the Ferrari pushes the Lambo out of the way, and we are now sat nicely in the slipstream of 8th and in prime position to make a move. So we're fairly well matched, so I'm not really gaining on him too much at that point. There's also the added element of the McGann giving him a bit of a tow up in front, but we finally get there, so I'm going to pull out here, and as we come into turn number 1, I do have the inside, but considering what I just saw, I decide to back out, which appears to be the right move as he comes right across our face there. I actually had to wait until turn number 5 to make the move, but as I do, the Portuguese in the Alpha, whose tyres are faring better at this stage of the race, they're much easier on their tyres than the big heavy Jag here, makes a move up the inside, and in 9th we remain. Jumping ahead to the start of lap number 10 here, we're going to make our way into the S's. Now, coming out of these S's, we've not only caught up with, but we are now right up the chuff of the Lambo up in front. We're going to get a much better run out of the S's here, dive to the inside, and pull an absolute textbook move on him into turn number 4, pushing us back up to 8th again. So there are about 1.5 laps to go now in this one, and there are a group of 4, a good couple of seconds up the road. Will it be, like it was in the race before, a case of consolidating this place and just count the driver rating it brings, or can I close them down and challenge for any of the positions up ahead? Well, in my head I had actually decided not to be greedy and just try and consolidate this position, but thanks to the guys up ahead who decided to have a huge crash up in front, leading to one of them crashing and the other getting a 5-second penalty, I jumped up the field. So after thinking I was just going to consolidate, we actually go from 8th up to 6th. What an absolute touch. But moving on to the final lap here, that really was all she wrote, and I'm going to come home here to take another decent result in another daily race, an unexpected 6th place to go with the 7th from the race before. Super GT will be proud. So having a look at our driver rating now, as our 7th and 6th places are confirmed here, we gained a whopping 1,400 points for those efforts, moving us up to 44,465 points. Things are really beginning to click now, and we are stringing good result after good result together. As a result, we're now only 5.5k away from A+. But next up is the FIAs at Bathurst, a track we all know can make or break you. So make sure you have your notification bell turned on so you are the first to know when that video goes live. But until then guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We now have merch as well, so get yourself some of that if you want to support the channel. But thanks again so much for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.